From the moment you wake up, you feel like you're in the driver's seat. You decide when to stand, what to eat, and what to say. It feels like a singular, conscious you is actively piloting the machine. But people suffering from extreme sleepwalking prove the machine can run entirely on its own. While completely unconscious, these patients will navigate kitchens, prepare meals, or even paint walls. Doctors use brainwave scanning, or EEG, to pinpoint the specific neural activity behind these complex, unscripted behaviors. This animated brain model visualizes those electrical signals. Erratic waves in the regions controlling physical movement and vision show those specific parts are awake. But as focus shifts to the front, activity drops off. The prefrontal cortex remains locked in deep, slow-wave sleep. The brain's primary decision-maker is offline, yet the body still navigates the physical world with precision. The conscious mind clearly isn't required to drive the car. Sleepwalking reveals a glitch in our natural sleep cycle, but we can push the brain's internal network entirely offline using general anesthesia. This network model maps the brain's internal architecture. In the middle sits the thalamus, a central communication router distributing sensory and motor signals. When anesthetic drugs hit the bloodstream, that central router is blocked. The high-speed data lines sever, leaving the individual nodes isolated. When those signals stop, awareness vanishes. Consciousness relies on the continuous communication between these separate, autonomous neural pieces. To stop life-threatening seizures from spreading, surgeons will sometimes sever the corpus callosum, the thick bundle of nerve fibers connecting the left and right hemispheres. This physically isolates the two halves of the brain. Researchers tested these patients by isolating their vision, flashing information to only one side of the visual field at a time. Flashing the word Texas to the patient's left visual field routes data exclusively to the right hemisphere. It commands the left hand to draw a cowboy hat. The speech-controlled left hemisphere never saw the prompt, leaving the vocal brain with no idea. The right half of the brain observed a cue and executed an action, while the left half had zero awareness of it. Two isolated mental systems can operate and act simultaneously within one body. If our mind is actually a collection of independent modules, what hidden biological forces are programming our social behavior? In 1848, a railroad worker named Phineas Gage survived a catastrophic accident that drove a 3-foot iron rod straight through his skull. The rod destroyed his insula, the region acting as the brain's emotional and moral thermostat. Before the accident, Gage was known as a reliable foreman. Afterward, he became impulsive and profane, losing his social filters entirely. Our personalities and moral filters are the mechanical outputs of these specific, vulnerable biological modules. Physical trauma to the brain is obvious, but our biology is also shaped by slow, invisible environmental pressures. Toward the end of World War II, Nazi troops cut off food supplies to the Netherlands. The ensuing starvation caused a devastating famine. The trauma of starvation forced the survivors' bodies to adapt. Through epigenetics, this extreme stress chemically altered the way specific genes were expressed. Years later, medical researchers tracked the descendants of the survivors. The children and grandchildren, people who never experienced the famine, inherited these exact metabolic adjustments. The biological hardware making your decisions today carries the physical imprint of intense trauma from ancestors you may have never met. If our behavior is steered by inherited trauma and isolated neural networks, what exactly is the conscious voice in your head doing? Neuroscientists designed an experiment using transcranial magnetic stimulation. Beaming a focused magnetic field into a subject's motor cortex physically forces their finger to twitch. The movement is entirely involuntary. Yet when researchers ask the subjects who initiated the twitch, they frequently claim they chose to move their finger, taking credit for a robotic pulse. The conscious mind acts as a PR department. It observes an action the body has already taken and retroactively invents a story of agency to make sense of the results. Realizing you aren't the primary pilot of your own mind sounds terrifying, but stepping away from the control panel has a distinct biological advantage. When researchers placed professional freestyle rappers inside fMRI machines, they asked them to improvise lyrics to map peak human creativity in real time. This animation illustrates the findings. To enter a creative flow state, the brain's conscious, self-monitoring center must actually power down. The deeper associative networks only light up when the conscious mind backs off. You see the same mechanic in sports. When an athlete overthinks a routine free throw, the conscious brain disrupts the learned muscle memory, and performance suffers. You operate beautifully without a central pilot. Relinquishing the illusion of control allows your vast, capable, unconscious machinery to take over, and that machinery is still you.